Rink-wide Vancouver. Pre-game, post-game, every game presented by Bodog from sports odds to free casino games. Make a play. Bodog.net. Wadden and JPat here with you once again with another edition of the pre-game show as the Canucks head into Anaheim to face off against the Ducks. And oh yeah, that offense that's struggling, well, maybe this is what will cure that ailment, JPat.
Ducks aren't the worst team in the National Hockey League. They're 2 points ahead of Chicago and Columbus here in the final week of the regular season, but they are the worst defensive team in the National Hockey League. And so, yeah, the Canucks got shut out 3-0 by Los Angeles last night. Maybe this is the answer going up against the Ducks team that's given up more goals than any other team in the National Hockey League.
Let's get to the lineup change. It's presented by Delaney's OK Tire out on Fraser Highway in Langley. The ace going back in goal for the Canucks.
Thatcher Demko, this should be his final start of the regular season. We're anticipating Colin Delia will get the mop-up duty in Arizona on Thursday in game number 82. So for Thatcher Demko, he's been really good for the Canucks, obviously, since returning from injury. Southern California guy, can't find a rink in the NHL closer to his San Diego hometown. Interestingly enough, this is just the second time, though, in his career that he's had a start at the pond. So I'm sure he'll savor it because after this one, it's going to be a long offseason for all of the Vancouver Canucks. But Thatcher Demko's season probably comes to an end tonight. Don't think. Let's hope that there's no reason for him to play in Arizona on Thursday. So Demko goes in goal in the back-to-backs. And I do wonder about Aidan McDonough. He's been a healthy scratch for 3 straight games. He's played 4 times in the National Hockey League, scored his first NHL goal against the Calgary Flames at the start of the last homestand. If he can't get into the lineup tonight after they got shut out, this is back-to-back 3 and 4. And let's be honest, there were a lot of underachievers against the Kings last night. Seems to me it would make sense to get the kid another game.
Well, you mentioned it. McDonough got his first NHL goal. The Canucks need goals. They got to find an offensive spark.
Yeah, this has been a little disappointing late in the season. Obviously, results don't matter, but you want to see them play hard and compete and ultimately put some pucks in the net. They didn't do any of that last night in Los Angeles, just 20 shots on goal. Whether it's the top-end guys, whether it's the support scorers behind them, last night against the Kings, the bottom 6 forward group, the bottom 2 lines, they were outshot a combined 11-1 at even strength and outscored 2-0. So, yeah, the top-end guys were held off the score sheet as well, but boy, those bottom 6 forwards spent way too much time in their own zone. Let's see if they can do a better job of that against the Ducks tonight.
Ducks have nothing left to play for, or maybe the Connor Bedard sweepstakes, but the Canucks are going to have to take it to them.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Rick Tocchet, he just wants to see some sort of response, a bounce-back game, if you will. And you're right, the Ducks don't have much to play for. They're reeling right now. They're injecting some young players into their lineup late in the season here. And if you're the Vancouver Canucks and you're looking for a path to victory, get the jump on the Ducks here. Get in front of them. Make it a difficult night on this Anaheim team. And that's something the Canucks really haven't done a great job of. They've beaten the Ducks all 3 times they've faced them, but the last 2 have been 1-goal games, and one of those required overtime here in Vancouver a couple of weeks back. So the Canucks haven't made easy work of the Anaheim Ducks, and we'll see if they can do that this evening.
Good test for college free agents Cole McWard and Akito Hirose to play back-to-back.
Even against one of the poorer teams in the National Hockey League, this is still the NHL, the best league in the world. And for these guys, this is part of the rigors of being in the National Hockey League. You're going to get back-to-backs. You're going to get 3 and 4 with some travel in there. So I think as part of the evaluation process, it'll be interesting to see. They were all right last night. Nobody was particularly good against the Los Angeles Kings, but another opportunity for these guys to skate in the National Hockey League and another chance for the coaching staff and management to assess their performance. You know, is fatigue an issue at this stage? Where is their energy level? Can they boost the hockey club? Can they give them a spark? All of those types of things come into play. So, yeah, if you're Akito Hirose or Cole McWard, or really anybody on the Vancouver Canucks, you want to find a way to up your game over the performance that the team put in last night at Crypto.com.
Let's take a look at the Ducks now, who haven't won a game in 11 and have been getting shelled on the scoreboard as well.
They really have. In fact, the last time the Canucks were in Anaheim and they beat the Ducks 2-1, that was the start of this 11-game losing streak for the Anaheim Ducks. Their last win came against the Columbus Blue Jackets, one of the 2 teams below them in the standings. 0-9-2 in their last 11, and they have been absolutely obliterated on the scoreboard, 49-22 in that span. So not happening offensively, just continuing to give up way too much defensively, and as a result, not winning many hockey games. They've got 2 to go. This one tonight against the Canucks, and then they finish at home against their crosstown rivals, the Kings. I don't know if there's another win left in this season for these Anaheim Ducks.
Well, they took the Stanley Cup champions to overtime on Sunday. However, discipline was an issue for them in that game.
It was. We're talking about the Colorado Avalanche here. The Ducks had a 4-2 lead midway through the third period and then started to take penalties. Well, you put the Avs in the power play, guess what? They scored twice with a man advantage to force overtime, and then another penalty in overtime, and a 4-on-3 goal solved it for Colorado. So the Avs with 3 power play goals on the night. You don't need to help a team like Colorado. Anaheim did that. So we'll see if they do a better job of staying out of the penalty box. Whatever the case, they get a single point off the Colorado Avalanche. And in fact, both of their last 2 losses have come after regulation time. But again, it's not about picking up points because any point they get moves them that much further ahead of Chicago and Columbus, and time is running out on the season here. So they played the Avs hard. Maybe that's the warning for the Vancouver Canucks, but ultimately they put Colorado on too many power plays, and the Avalanche made them pay.
Speaking of discipline, Ryan Strome found himself a little lighter in the pocket after yesterday.
Yeah, he got a $5,000 fine from the league. The Ducks as a team were not happy that all the calls were going against them, and the call in overtime was a little bit suspect. And I think Ryan Strome, at the end of the long season, had enough, lofted a water bottle onto the ice after the Avs winning goal. I don't know if it was in the direction of the officials or close enough to the officials that the statement was made. Whatever, the league took notice of it and slapped Ryan Strome with a $5,000 fine. He'll be okay. He'll be able to pay it. But yes, I think you can see that a little frustration is mounting there in the final week of the season for this Anaheim Hockey Club.
And the Ducks, they don't score a lot, but their scoring leaders are spread out. They got a 4-way tie atop the goal-scoring leaders.
Oh, the drama here of the Anaheim Ducks goal-scoring derby going right down to the wire. A couple of the usual suspects, obviously, and Trevor Zegras, who leads the team in scoring, and Troy Terry. They're the 2 best offensive players. Adam Henrique, though, he's got 22 goals, as does Frank Vetrano, who had a couple the other day, and he's sitting on 22. So, yeah, a 4-way tie for the team lead. Those are the guys that the Vancouver Canucks are going to have to pay attention to because they're the ones that generate the bulk of the offense for this Anaheim Hockey Club.
Let's get to the stat that stands out. It's presented by Jason Hominick at Jason.Mortgage.
Yeah, one guy I didn't mention there is Mason McTavish, who's just 20 years of age, 3rd overall pick a couple of years ago in the draft. He's going to be a big part of what the Anaheim Ducks are putting forward here in the years to come. But, boy, does it feel like he has hit the rookie wall. He has 1 point on this 11-game losing streak. It was an assist. He's gone 14 games without a goal. He's got 42 points on the season, which, again, for a 20-year-old rookie, nothing to sneeze at. But it just feels like late in the season for Mason McTavish, not a whole lot happening for him. So that's a number that stands out for me. 1 point in this 11-game losing streak and just 1 goal, or no goals rather, in his last 14 games. The stat that stands out, a presentation of Jason Hominick at Jason.Mortgage.
My Bodog Best Bet, I'm just rolling it over from the game against the Kings. And honestly, I feel like I was a game too early with this one. Elias Pettersson to record 2 or more points. Now, I'm not getting the odds that I got against LA. It's even money here, but I feel like EP40 gets a couple, maybe 3, maybe 4. JPat, who knows? These are the Anaheim Ducks after all, but I think he reaches it tonight. Go to Bodog and be confident this time with the bet.
Oh, come on, go big. He had a 5-point night against Anaheim back in November. He doesn't need 5, but he does need 1, obviously, to get to the century mark here. We've been talking about that and charting this storyline. When your team gets shut out, obviously, you didn't find the score sheet. So, new night, new opponent, and we'll see if tonight's the night that Elias Pettersson gets to the 100-point mark.
All right, I want EP40 to do something. Who do you want to do something in this game?
Yeah, well, I'm going to stick right there. Elias Pettersson is my do-something candidate. He and his line mates didn't have a whole lot going on last night. He scored the shorthanded goal against Calgary the other night. That's the last time that any Vancouver Canuck has scored a goal. So they've got 5 periods without putting a puck in the net. Again, against an Anaheim team that is as porous as anybody in the National Hockey League. And not only did Elias Pettersson have 5 points against the Ducks back in November, he has more points against Anaheim than any other opponent this season in just 3 games. So he has 9 points. 9 of his 99 have come at the expense of the Anaheim Ducks. So certainly there's a history and a track record here. This guy's too good, too talented, too motivated, and too driven. And quite frankly, I don't want to see him leave this drama until the final night of the regular season. So take care of the business, get that point you need. Maybe you pile on and get a few more after that, but certainly get a single point. Elias Pettersson, he's been my do-something guy on a lot of nights, and guess what? He's done an awful lot for the Vancouver Canucks, but he is in the crosshairs again here tonight. Elias Pettersson, want to see him do something to reach that personal milestone.
All right, let's see if EP40 can reach the century mark, something that hasn't been done in over a decade in Canucks history. This has been another edition of the Rink Wide Vancouver podcast presented by Bodog. For Jeff Patterson, I'm Andrew Wadden. Remember, Rink Wide is the show that always scores.